Yes, you did. I heard it. I'm ready to run some bikes.
Do it well.
Hello, congrats.
Thank you.
Hi.
Come on, dude. You want that one or this one? Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with tonight's post-race media availability. We have now been joined by tonight's race winner, Aric Almirola, driver of the number 20 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. Aric, you've now swept Martinsville this year. How does that feel?
Hold on a minute. I'm so hungry. It feels amazing. I feel honestly humbled. I came here as a 20-year-old kid driving a Home Depot number 20 in a late model 20 years ago. And from that time forward, Martinsville has just been a special place for me. I've always run good here. I've always had whatever the technique is that you need to be successful here. I've just always had it from the get-go. And it's been a place that I have always loved showing up to and have competed really well. And I've never gotten a grandfather clock. So to get one in the spring was huge. And then to come back here, honestly, in a situation to where we needed to win. We were racing the 00 heads up on points. We needed to outpoint the 7 in case somebody like the 81 or the 1 or the 2 won. We needed to be ahead of them. So I felt like our backs were up against the wall, and we knew that going into tonight that it was going to be a max points, try and win the race kind of day. And yesterday we did not have the car to do that. So to win back-to-back at Martinsville and to come back and do it after the day we had yesterday is amazing.
All right, we're going to open it up for questions. We'll start with Jacob and then move over to the left side.
Jacob Seelman, Race Face Digital. Aric, congratulations. Couple for you. First, you talked about the importance of what you guys needed to do for the Owners' Championship, and we've seen this from JGR year after year. You've been a part of it this year. Can you talk about what you've experienced in being a part of this all-star car racing for the Owners' Championship, and then kind of what it means to Steve and Joe and everybody in the JGR Xfinity program?
Well, it's huge. When I sat down with Coach at the Roval last year, we talked about what it would look like, and like I told you guys in here in the spring, like the very first conversations with Coach was, hey, what do you think about racing all year and going to go try and win a championship in the Xfinity Series? And I said, Coach, I cannot tell my wife that I am retiring from full-time racing to go full-time racing. And we talked about it for a while, and he said, well, if we run a limited schedule, I think the goal should still be to go and race for an Owners' Championship. And that was our deal from the get-go. When I left his bus after that meeting, I walked away, and that was the plan. And here we are. Not always do you get to execute a plan because it's hard. It is not a given. And certainly after the race we had at Las Vegas, where we lost power steering and gave up a bunch of points there, I was nervous. I felt like it was going to slip through our fingers. And then we showed up yesterday and did not have the car we needed. And I was like, oh no. And I drove home last night as soon as qualifying was over. Alex was playing in a championship baseball game last night, and I hurried home. And for 2 hours home, I went back and forth with Tyler Allen, my crew chief, on what we needed to do, what the car was doing, what I needed it to do, and they made some adjustments today before the start of the race, and my car was phenomenal. So that is a testament to the team, right? Like, I can only drive the car as fast as the car will let me, and yesterday it was not good enough. I was a fifth place car yesterday, and they made the right adjustments going into the race today, and we had the dominant car. So just really proud of Tyler, our engineers, my car chief Gainey, John, just everybody that works so hard to bring the best race car to the racetrack. It's so much fun every time you strap into a race car thinking you can win.
Before I ask my second question, who's been having more fun with these celebrations, you or Alex?
Alex. I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun. It's so cool to be able to experience this. Like, it's so euphoric. Like, I work so hard, and they see me at home on my computer, looking at notes, looking at SMT, studying data, talking to my crew chief, talking to my engineers, going to the shop, sitting in meetings. They see how hard I work, and so when they get to be here and share in the celebration, it means a lot to me and to our family, because racing, from the day that they were born, honestly, from the day that Janice and I got married, racing has always been what we do. It's not what I do, it's what we do. And they've come to the racetrack, my entire career, probably 75-80% of the races. They fly home Sunday night after cup races, get home at midnight, get up at 6 in the morning for school. And that's a sacrifice. I know it's awesome, and they live an amazing lifestyle because of it, but it is a sacrifice. And to share in these joyous moments is just, it's really gratifying.
And you talked about what Martinsville means to you personally from earlier in your career, but from a driving standpoint, is this one of those wins that means more because so much more is in your control?
Yeah, you still have to have a good car, right? It doesn't matter. Like, I feel like I've always had a knack for this place. I feel like I just have always known what I need the race car to do, and so that helps because I can guide my team in the right direction, and if they give me what I need, then I can be successful here. But you still need the car to do those things, and so I don't know, it's a team effort, and my name is the name on the door, and of course I get a lot of the recognition for the success or the failure, but it's a team sport. It's the guys on pit road did an amazing job today. We picked up spots or kept the lead every single time we came down pit road. The race car, the car chief, the engineers, there's so many people back at the shop that bolt it together. We had nothing fall off. All of those details and those things matter. It's not just me.
We're going to go to Steve and then John.
Steve Schweitzer with the Lasco Press. Aric, I thought you drove a great race. Congratulations on the win. I don't mean to, this question isn't meant to insinuate anything, but I just got to know. When you're driving a car with an advertisement for God on the side of it, does that ever enter your mind when you're out there on the track battling for position, especially in a race like tonight?
Well, I'll be fully transparent with you. I sat there in the car today like I do before every race, and they say, gentlemen, start your engines. I fire it up. I shut the car back off once I know that it fired up and everything's good. All my gauges look good. I turn it back off, and I say a quick little prayer, and we roll off and we start the race. And then throughout the course of the race, I am asking God to be with me, right? To help me make good decisions, I know it's going to sound silly, but I feel like I'm in constant prayer out there, and I feel like, that's just where I've gotten to in my walk with Christ over the last 10 years, is that it's a daily walk. It's constantly trying to be in His presence, and that's not the reason I won today, right? It's because I had an amazing race car and I executed and I did all those things. Win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter. It's my faith is important to me, and so it's an honor to get to represent. He gets us in that ministry because for my entire career, I've represented Fortune 500 companies and big, large corporations, and here I am closing out my career representing Jesus Christ, and I think that's pretty amazing.
We're going to go to John, Bob, Michael, and then Matt.
John Newby, Savage Ventures. So I was curious, obviously you proved you could win at every level of NASCAR. You know, that was never in doubt, but is it sweeter knowing that you can just go out and dominate races like this when you have equipment that is top tier every single time you're in the car?
Yeah, of course it's sweeter because it's always fun to win, right? But for me, it honestly is, it's validation, right? Like I worked so hard throughout my career, and I wanted more success, right? I wanted to win more cup races. I wanted to contend for a cup championship. It never happened, right? And my life will go on, and I'll be fine with that. I sleep totally fine at night. I have come to terms, and I'm at peace with that. But for me to have this opportunity, like if racing would have ended at Phoenix last year, and that would have been my last race ever when I climbed out of the Cup car, I would have been okay with that. But the fact that Coach gave me this opportunity, I felt like it was an open door from the Lord, and we're doing it. We're doing it together, and to have the success and to compete at this level is validation for me. Just to know that when I have good cars and fast cars and a good pit crew and everything is lined up, that I can get the job done.
Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. You battled some with Chandler Smith. He was a must-win. He had some drama there during the race and afterward, and he's in a position that you're not foreign to, right? Where you're racing for your job and you don't know what's next. I'm curious, do you talk with him much through your role, and what have you advised him?
Can you enlighten me on the drama? I didn't see anything.
So he was up to, I think, third. He picks the outside. Cole picks the outside, and Cole does a bump and run on him, which kind of hurt his momentum. And then he gets out of the car afterwards and goes over to Cole and slaps him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. Do you think that was payback from Kansas?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, yes.
Right? I mean, they talked about it at Kansas, and they were both pretty mad at each other. Cole was very mad at Chandler. So I don't know. I haven't talked to Chandler, so I can't advise him on anything because I haven't talked to him. I got out of the race car and we celebrated in Victory Lane, and now I'm here talking to you guys. So,
I meant in general, or just he's been in that position. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Future holds. He's in that position.
Yeah, I mean, I raced almost my entire career on a 1-year contract, right? So every year, by the time you get to September, October, you're starting to stress out a little bit because you don't know what's going to happen next. Thankfully for most of my career, I kind of had it sorted out by August, September. I never had to really wait this late in the game to know what was next. But I can only imagine how stressful that is because, I mean, even for me, all those years trying to work through May, June, July, starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together, the sponsorship together, having the conversations about contracts, all those things, they're a distraction. They're stressful, they're a distraction. And, you have to keep in mind, this is not only what we do, right? Like, we love to drive race cars, but it's also the way we provide for our family. For me, this has been the way that I've provided for my family my entire, their entire lives. And it's a great way to provide for your family, but there's always the chance that it's going to end, at the end of the year. And it's hard. Right now, it's hard to come up with money. It's hard to just do it on talent alone. And Chandler is a great race car driver. He is a talented race car driver. And I'm rooting for him that he gets something figured out and has an opportunity next year.
Go ahead, Michael.
Michael Massey, front stretch. Given like how the truck race ended last night, given that so many guys had to win to advance, and like the 8 cars closing in on you, how much of it was you just like running for your life at the end of that race?
All night. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there was only one point in the race where I felt kind of like, okay, I can settle in here, when Sheldon got by me. When Sheldon Creed got by me, and I was sitting there in second, and we put a big gap on the 7, and I was just kind of riding behind him. I was trying to take care of my tires. He forced the issue to get to the lead, and I'm like, fine, have it. And I sat there and rode behind him for 7 or 8 laps, and then I started putting some pressure on him, and he was making, some mistakes. He was slipping. He was getting loose in. And I'm like, all right, now's my chance to go. And, man, he raced me super hard. And from that point forward, when I got by him, I was like, that's it. The rest of the night, nobody gets a break. Like, I am going as hard as my race car will let me. I am not going to ride. I'm not going to worry about taking care of my stuff. I'm going to make sure that I maintain control of the race, and that, I knew it was going to start to turn into a caution fest. And at that point, you want to make sure that you are the leader no matter what, so you can maintain the control of the restarts.
We're going to end with Matt in the back.
Matt Weaver, Sports Not. I came in late.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, I don't know if this has been covered earlier.
You remember last night?
I do, and I thought about it getting closer and closer to the checkered flag. The car was okay.
The car was better today. I was pretty bummed out when you caught me yesterday. I was trying to hustle out of here because it's an hour and 45-minute ride back home, and I was trying to get to his baseball game. So you caught me, and I'm like, yeah, now's not a good time, but sure. But I was pretty bummed out when you caught me last night because my car was not very good, and I didn't think that I was going to have what I needed to go and compete for a win today.
I appreciated the time, and I appreciate it now too. Given the many years that you've put into NASCAR and your career, and even the last 10 years, wanting to be part of, ending the season in a Final Four in the Cup Series, and now to be able to do what you're doing this year and be in a version of it on the owner's side this year, is that personally gratifying or rewarding that you get to have that moment that you go to Phoenix and you're going to be a part of that Final Four environment in some way?
Yeah, it's incredibly gratifying. Yeah, I mean, I guess, sorry to take this question and point it back to, my faith, but in 2018, I came up short of making it to the Final Four. I won at Talladega to get into the round of 8. I ran really good in the round of 8. We went to Phoenix, and I almost passed. I ran wheel to wheel with Kyle Busch for the lead for a while, and I wasn't able to complete the pass cleanly. And I didn't have it in me to move him or to wreck him to try and make it to Homestead to race for a championship. And I came up short that day, and I ended up finishing 5th in the points that year in Cup, and I was really dejected. I was really disappointed and dejected. That was my first year at SHR, and I was just like, gosh, like why? Like, why not me? Come on, God, like, why not me? And I just realized in that moment over that off season, like, that's not number one for me, and it doesn't have to be number one. And so that off season, I made a little card that I ended up laminating it, and it had a picture of Christ on the cross. It had a picture of me with my family, and then it had a picture of a Cup championship trophy below it. And I had it in my bathroom, on my mirror in my bathroom, and I've had it there for the last several years. And it's just always a reminder that racing is priority number 3 in my life. And so, yes, going to race for a championship is amazing. I am incredibly grateful to have that opportunity, but whether I win a championship or I don't win a championship, it's not going to define who I am.
And with that said, recognizing the first and second tiers of that pillar, could this be the start of kind of a second act of your career? Like, can you keep doing this, be the guy that gets called?
No way. We've had this conversation. And my wife says, no way. So, and I'm good with that. I really am. Like, it is so much fun to come and do this. But, I mean, I say it often. I think I told you guys at Kansas, like, I know you understand the grind. You guys are at the racetrack every single week, right? Like, for me, this year, I didn't have to go to the racetrack every week. I wasn't at Pocono. Yay. I didn't have to go to Coda, right? Like, I didn't have to go to those racetracks. And I was at home, or we were traveling to go watch a Major League Baseball game. Like, I have loved this year. It has been so fun to race the car, but not have to go every weekend. And I know that that is so hard for people to understand, because people are like, oh, you're so lucky, like you have the coolest job in the world and all those things. Yes, you're absolutely right. I have the coolest job in the world. But it doesn't matter who you are or what job you have. At some point, it becomes a job. And the more you do it every single week, year after year after year, it feels more and more and more like a job. So this year, being able to do it on my terms and having as much off time as I've had, I do not think that this is going to sway me into a second act, for sure.
But is this the end next week?
I don't know.
All right.
Thanks.
And with that, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate you guys. I really, really do. And I mean that. Like, the fact that you guys show up every single week, like, it's awesome. I get it. But I like that I don't have to.
Sorry, I got you. Want me to repeat? I have one quick follow-up.